When they promoted me to lead engineer at 30, my wife, Elena, cried with joy. We celebrated with cheap champagne, talking about the raise, about finally getting that bigger apartment. 3 days later, I stood on a ship's deck watching an abandoned drilling platform emerge from the fog, and all I felt was dread. The rig appeared like a gallows. At first, just a dark smudge, but as we approached, it revealed itself, massive, balanced on 4 enormous legs disappearing into black water. The drilling derrick rose like a rusted cathedral spire. Barnacles clustered on the supports like tumors. The whole thing swayed slightly, creaking from somewhere deep inside. Beautiful, isn't she? Nikita grinned beside me, 27, our environmental specialist, fresh from university, all nervous energy. He'd been talking non-stop since we left port, methane readings, contamination levels, using technical jargon like armor. First time on one of these, Alexei? Yeah. I couldn't look away from the rig. Something about it felt wrong, like it wanted to be left alone. Don't worry, they look worse than they are. His smile flickered. Usually? Attention on deck. Maria Petrovna's voice cut through the wind. 54, built like steel cable, gray hair pulled back tight. She'd been doing this work since before I was born. We gathered around her, me, Nikita, and Igor, our electrical engineer. 42, built like a bear, methodically checking his equipment. Listen up, Maria said. Management wants a complete structural assessment in 4 days, with 4 people. We should have 10 minimum, but budget cuts mean we do it ourselves. So here's how this works. We do our jobs, watch each other's backs, don't take stupid risks. Understood? We nodded. Igor, you're on electrical and communications. Get power to living quarters. Nikita, environmental assessment. Alexei, structural integrity. Supports, welds, deck plating, everything. Visual inspection first. She paused. This is simple on paper. We assess, document, leave. We're not here to solve mysteries. Clear? Clear. The captain maneuvered us alongside. Our boarding method was a rope ladder hanging from above, swaying like a noose. The ship rose and fell on swells, the gap alternating between 1 and 3 meters. Igor, you first, Maria said. Get the winch working. Igor stripped off his jacket and moved to the edge, timing the waves. When the ship rose, he lunged. His hands caught the wet rope, and for a horrible second, he just hung there, feet kicking. Then he found purchase and climbed, muscles straining. We watched him disappear into darkness above. Minutes later, metal screeched. A cargo basket descended on a cable that looked too thin. Igor was lowering it manually. We loaded the gasoline generator, 50 kilograms. When it rose, Nikita moved to the railing. It's weird, he said quietly. No fish. I've been watching. Nothing. No birds either. He was right. The water around the support legs was unnaturally still, an oily black that absorbed light. The sky was empty except for gray clouds. We were in open ocean. There should be gulls, something. But nothing moved. The basket came back down under power. Igor had the winch running. We loaded the rest and climbed in. As we lifted off, my stomach dropped. Wind buffeted us, the basket rotating slowly, giving me spinning views of endless ocean. The shrinking ship, then the platform's underside, a nightmare maze of rusted beams and dripping pipes. The basket rose into shadow. The smell hit me. Rust, old oil, salt, and something organic and rotten. We clanged against metal and stopped. Igor opened the gate, face sheened with sweat. Welcome aboard. I stepped onto solid deck and felt it immediately, a deep vibration through my boots. The whole structure hummed at some frequency I felt in my bones rather than heard. We stood on a wide metal deck covered with dark stains. An empty oil drum lay nearby. Beyond, the deck stretched toward a multi-story superstructure with dark windows like dead eyes. To my right, the drilling derrick towered overhead, wrapped in cables and support beams. Wind caught the drum and sent it rolling with a hollow boom that echoed off metal walls. It sounded almost like laughter. Already evening, Maria checked her watch. We unload and settle tonight. Real work starts tomorrow at 0800. The next 3 hours were labor, moving equipment, hauling generators through corridors that got darker as daylight faded. Igor got basic power running, a few corridors in the galley lit, but most wiring was rotted through. By full dark, we gathered in the galley. Igor had hooked up an electric kettle, and we sat drinking hot tea with hardtack. The hot liquid felt like salvation against the cold, seeping through every wall. Tomorrow, Maria wrapped her hands around her cup. Igor, priority is power and communications. I want the satellite phone operational and lights in main corridors. Nikita, start topside. Water samples from around support legs, air quality on open decks. Alexei, visual inspection of critical structures. Supports, derrick, main deck. She paused, voice hardening. We don't go into enclosed spaces without gas analyzers and respirators, ever. Old platforms trap gases, hydrogen sulfide, methane, carbon monoxide. Any can kill you in seconds. We're alone out here. No backup. Keep radios on. Check in regularly. If something feels wrong, get out and call for help. No heroes. Understand? Yes. Good. 0800 comes early. We dispersed to our cabins. Mine was on the second level. 3 by 4 meters, bunk bed, desk, porthole with a shredded curtain. Someone had lived here once. Books on the desk, yellowed and warped. A coffee mug with something black fossilized in the bottom. Photographs tacked to the wall. Colors faded to ghostly pastels. A woman in a green dress, smiling. The photo was dated 7 years ago. I set up my sleeping bag on the lower bunk, not trusting the stained mattress. The platform's hum made it impossible to relax. I thought about Elena, 300 kilometers away. I'd tried calling on the satellite phone, but Igor said it wasn't working yet. Something wrong with the antenna. He'd fix it tomorrow. Unable to sleep, I examined the desk. Among the books was a notebook, cover water-stained. I opened it, a diary handwritten in cramped Cyrillic. The first pages were mundane. Weather reports, work schedules, complaints about food. Then, 20 pages in, the tone changed. May 12th. Weather's turned nasty. Thick fog. Fishing boats complaining about catches being down. They say the fish have gone somewhere else. May 15th. Went to the lower hold with Sergei. He got spooked. Says he saw something moving in the shadows. I told him rats, but he didn't seem convinced. May 16th. Found a dead seagull on deck. Feathers soaked in black oil. But we haven't had spills. My heartbeat accelerated. May 18th. Mikalish is acting strange. Grabbed my arm, said, "Don't walk around at night." She doesn't like being disturbed. Later saw him washing his hands with a wire brush, scrubbing so hard his skin was raw and bleeding. May 20th. Sounds are getting worse. At night, things moving in the pipes, scratching sounds. Petrov says thermal expansion, but it doesn't sound like metal. It sounds alive. May 22nd. We shut down all generators today. Should have been silent, but there was still a sound. A humming from below under the platform. Low frequency, almost below hearing. What is that? Chief engineer says maybe geological, but it doesn't sound natural. My hands trembled. May 24th. Vadim is gone. Vanished during night shift. We searched everywhere. Nothing. Mikalish muttering, "She's awake now. She knows all of us by scent. She'll find us all." Management sending relief team early. May 25th. Everything's falling apart. Some crew have gone crazy. Kozlov attacked Dmitri with a pipe wrench. Had to lock him up. This morning, the door was open. Kozlov gone. 3 missing now. I'm locked in my cabin. Something in the pipes. Scratching, getting closer. They found me, outside the door. They're not talking. Why won't they talk? Just standing there, breathing. Something dripping, and why won't they? The entry ended mid-sentence. The handwriting had deteriorated to barely legible scrawl. The next page had dark brown stains sprayed across it. The rest was blank. I sat there, the notebook in trembling hands, listening to the platform's hum. Outside, metal creaked. Just thermal expansion, I told myself. Just the structure settling. I put the notebook back carefully, checked the door was locked, and climbed into my sleeping bag. I turned off the lantern, plunging the cabin into darkness broken only by faint gray light from the porthole. I lay with eyes wide open, listening. The platform's hum, the wind, the creak of metal, and somewhere, very faint, a sound like scratching in the walls. Just rats, just thermal expansion, just the wind. I repeated it until exhaustion pulled me into uneasy sleep, where I dreamed of dark water and things that moved in the depths, and a humming that came from somewhere very far below. The screech of my alarm ripped me from nightmares of drowning. 7:30 a.m. Gray light seeped through the torn curtain. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then the platform's constant hum reminded me. I dressed quickly, splashed cold water on my face, and headed to the galley. Maria was already there, studying schematics. Igor sat in the corner nursing coffee, looking like he hadn't slept. Nikita was missing. "Morning," Maria said. "Sleep well?" "Well enough." I poured coffee. It tasted like rust. "Where's Nikita?" "Already topside taking samples. Kid's got energy." She tapped the schematic. "Alexei, I want you on the support legs. Visual inspection from deck level. I need to know if there's structural compromise." "What about the derrick?" "Tomorrow. One thing at a time." She looked at Igor. "Communications?" He shook his head. "Satellite phone's still dead. Antenna array is corroded to hell. Maybe this afternoon." Maria's jaw tightened. "That's priority 1, Igor. We need extraction capability." The galley door banged open. Nikita stumbled in, face pale, hands shaking. "You look like you saw a ghost," I said. "The water." He set down his sample case carefully. "It's wrong. No marine life. Nothing. The supports should have algae, barnacles. They're completely clean, like something's been scrubbing them." He paused. "And I saw movement. Deep down. Something big, moving between the support legs." The galley went quiet. "Could have been a shark," Igor offered. "It didn't move like a shark. It moved sideways. Wrong shape. Too long." "What do the readings say?" Maria's voice was firm. Nikita pulled out his analyzer with trembling fingers. "Ammonia levels elevated. Suggests decomposition. Something organic breaking down. Old fuel, dead fish, anything," Maria said. "We'll note it. Alexei, gear up. I want those support inspections done by noon." I collected my equipment and headed topside. The morning was gray and cold, wind whipping across the deck. I began examining the first support leg, massive steel, 4 meters in diameter. The welds looked old but intact, surface rust but no deep pitting I could see. I was moving to the second support when my radio crackled. "Alexei, you copy?" Igor's voice tense. "Copy. Just checking radio function. Stay on channel 3. I continued working, documenting each support. It was at the third leg that I noticed something wrong. The water here moved differently, a slow circular current, like something was disturbing it from below. I raised my binoculars and looked closer. Long parallel scratches marked the support just above the waterline. Fresh scratches. The metal underneath was bright, not rusted, like something with claws had scraped against it. My mouth went dry. I keyed the radio. "Maria, support 3. I'm seeing unusual markings. Can you take a look?" "On my way." I kept the binoculars trained on the marks. The circular current continued hypnotic. Then I saw it. Something pale broke the surface about 10 meters out. Not a fin. Wrong shape. It looked almost like a hand, fingers spread, before it slipped back under. I stumbled backward from the railing. "What did you find?" Maria's voice behind me made me jump. She stood there with Nikita. "The water. I saw something." "What kind of something?" "I don't know. It was pale. Broke the surface for just a second." Maria moved to the railing and looked down. "I don't see anything. It went under. But look, those scratches, they're fresh." She examined them through binoculars. Her expression tightened. "Could be ice damage. Ice doesn't scratch in parallel lines." Then debris. But she didn't sound convinced. "Did you get photos?" "Yes." "Good. Continue the inspection, but stay away from the edge." By noon, I'd finished all 4 supports. My nerves were shredded. Back in the galley, Maria had new orders. This afternoon, interior spaces. Upper levels first. Storage, crew quarters, recreation areas. She paused. "Nikita goes with you. 2-man teams for interior work." We geared up. Respirators, gas analyzers, flashlights, radios. Maria walked us through the checklist. Test air before entering any room. If the analyzer spikes, back out immediately. Stay together. Check in every 15 minutes. The interior was a maze. Our footsteps echoed on metal floors. Lights only covered main corridors. Side passages remained dark. We started with the recreation room. The door was stuck. When it finally gave way, the smell made us gag through the respirators. Rot and mildew and something chemical. I checked the analyzer. Elevated ammonia. Not dangerous yet, but climbing. We don't stay long. Inside, the recreation room was frozen in time. Pool table with balls still racked. TV on the wall. Moldy couches. Magazines scattered. Like everyone had just walked out. "This is creepy as hell," Nikita muttered. "Document and move on." He called out from the far end. "Alexei, look at this." Someone had scratched words into the wall. "She knows. She knows. She knows." Repeated 20 times. Gouged deep. "What the hell?" Nikita breathed. "We're leaving." We continued down the corridor. More empty quarters, all showing hasty abandonment. Clothes in lockers. Personal photos left behind. In one cabin, a child's drawing taped to the wall. A stick figure family. Someone's kid had drawn that for their dad. It was near the crew mess that we heard it. Footsteps. We froze. Heavy boots on metal, slow and deliberate, coming from around the corner ahead. "Hello," Nikita called. "Igor, Maria." The footsteps stopped. Silence. "Probably Igor," I said, but my hand moved to the wrench on my belt. We moved forward slowly. I shined my flashlight around the corner. Empty. "There's nobody here," Nikita said. We both heard it. My radio crackled. "Alexei, Nikita, status check." Maria's voice. "We're fine. 2nd level near crew mess." "Did Igor just walk past here?" "Negative. Igor's topside on the satellite array." "Why?" We heard footsteps. A pause. "Get out of there. Come back to galley." We didn't need to be told twice. We moved quickly. Flashlights sweeping shadows that seemed to move just out of sight. Maria was waiting, arms crossed. "Tell me exactly what you heard." I described it. Heavy footsteps, deliberate, then stopping. "Structure settling," Maria said firmly. Thermal expansion. These old platforms make noises. It sounded like someone walking. There's nobody else here. We're alone. She said it like saying it made it true. Igor got the satellite phone working. I reported our status. They're expecting our assessment in 3 days. Then we're out of here. She looked between us. Take a break. You look rattled. Resume in an hour. In my cabin, I found myself reaching for the diary again. Near the end, I found a page I'd skipped, a crude drawing, the platform from below showing the support legs. But between the legs, someone had drawn something else, a shape, vaguely humanoid but wrong, with limbs too long and too many joints. Words beside it. She lives in the dark beneath. We woke her with our noise and now she's hungry. She takes us one by one to the deep places. She makes us into something else. I shoved the diary in my pack. An hour later, Maria had a new assignment. Lower levels. I need the mechanical spaces checked. Engine rooms, generators, pump stations. Alexei, that's you. My stomach dropped. Alone? Igor will go with you. He needs to check electrical systems. Nikita, you're with me. Storage inventory. Igor and I descended the main stairwell. 3 levels down, the air got colder, damper. Lights ended at level 2. Below was darkness. Our flashlights cut narrow beams through black. The gas analyzer registered trace methane, but nothing dangerous. The mechanical level was a maze of pipes and silent machinery. Huge pumps sat idle, streaked with rust. Water dripped somewhere, echoing. Jesus, Igor muttered. This is worse than I thought. We moved through, documenting everything. Igor checked electrical panels while I examined structural elements. Near the back of the engine room, Igor's flashlight flickered and died. Shit, he smacked it. Nothing. Battery's dead. I just changed it. Use mine. I handed him my spare. That one died 30 seconds later. That's not right. Igor's voice had gone tight. Only our headlamps remained. Then we heard it. That hum. Low frequency coming from below us, from somewhere even deeper. It vibrated through the metal floor, through our bones. It rose and fell in a rhythm that made my head swim and my vision blur. What the fuck is that? Igor's panic was naked. Move, now. We ran. The hum followed, growing louder, resonating through every surface. My headlamp flickered. Igor crashed into a pipe, cursed, kept moving. We hit the stairs and climbed 2 at a time. The hum faded, but I could still feel it in my chest, like my heartbeat had synchronized with it. We burst into the lit corridor, gasping. Maria and Nikita were already there, both shaken. You heard it too? Maria demanded. From the storage areas, Nikita said. That humming. It came from below us, I said. Below the mechanical level. There's nothing below mechanical except flooded holds, Maria said. Then it's coming from the water. We stood in the flickering corridor lights, 4 people alone on a dead platform, listening to something hum in the depths. Maria's jaw set. Tomorrow we finish and call for early extraction. Something's wrong here. That night I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m. I heard my door handle turn. Slowly, carefully, like someone was testing if it was locked. I sat up, heart hammering. Hello? The handle stopped moving. I heard breathing on the other side. Wet, labored breathing. Then footsteps walking away down the corridor. But wrong. The rhythm was off, like whoever it was had too many legs or was dragging something. I grabbed my radio. Maria, Igor, Nikita, anyone awake? Static. This is Alexei. Someone just tried my door. Anyone else hear anything? More static. Then Maria's voice, thick with sleep. What? Someone tried my door handle, just now. Probably Igor checking on something. Go back to sleep. It wasn't Igor. Alexei, we're all exhausted and on edge. Try to rest. We'll talk in the morning. I lay back down but didn't sleep. I listened to the platform's hum, now seeming to contain a pattern, almost like words I couldn't quite make out. At 6 a.m., my alarm went off. I dressed and headed to the galley early. Maria was already there. So was Igor, but Nikita's chair was empty. "Where's Nikita?" I asked. Maria and Igor exchanged glances. "We were hoping you'd know," Maria said. "His bunk's empty. His equipment's gone." "Gone where?" "We don't know. He's not responding to radio." The three of us stood there as the morning light grew, and somewhere deep below, something hummed its ancient song. "How long has he been missing?" Maria checked her watch. "Since before 05:30. His bunk was empty when I got up." "And you're just telling me now?" "I was hoping he'd gone topside." Her face was tight. "Igor's been trying to raise him for 20 minutes. Nothing." I pulled out my radio. "Nikita, this is Alexei. Respond, please." Static. "Nikita, we need to know you're okay." Silence. Igor showed us Nikita's locker. His respirator, gas analyzer, and flashlight were gone. Sample case remained. "He went somewhere that needed breathing protection," Igor said. "Below deck." Maria's jaw clenched. "Two-man teams. Those were the goddamn rules." She keyed her radio. "Nikita, you are ordered to respond. Acknowledge." Only static. "We split up," Maria decided. "Igor, upper levels. Alexei, you're with me. We go down. Check in every 10 minutes. We geared up. Respirators, analyzers, radios, flashlights. I grabbed the wrench. We moved through corridors, calling Nikita's name. Empty rec room. Empty quarters. We descended to the mechanical level. The ammonia smell hit us immediately. "Gas check," Maria ordered. "Elevated but acceptable. Respirators on." We pulled on masks and continued through silent machinery. Our boots splashed through puddles. "Nikita," Maria called. I swept my light across the far end. "Maria, there." A hatch stood open in the floor. Ladder rungs descended into darkness. We approached. Ammonia rolled up in waves. My analyzer beeped urgently. "Flooded sections," Maria said. "Why would he go down there?" I shined my light into the opening. The ladder disappeared into black water 3 meters down. Something floated near the base. Nikita's flashlight, still on, bobbing in the water. "Oh God! Nikita!" I shouted. "Can you hear me?" Echo. Silence. Then, that hum, rising from below. Maria grabbed my arm. "We call this in. Now." A splash echoed from below. Ripples spread across the surface. Something had moved underneath. The water bulged like something large was rising. "We're leaving," Maria said. The hum grew louder. With it came overwhelming rot and chemicals. We backed away. The bulge grew larger, approaching the ladder. Igor's voice crackled over radio, panicked. "Maria, Alexei, I found him. Second level, crew mess. You need to see this. What did they do to him? Is he alive? I don't know. Just get up here." We ran, upstairs, through corridors, the hum following us through the structure. Igor stood outside the crew mess, back against the wall, pale and sweating. His flashlight pointed at an open doorway, hand shaking. "In there," he whispered. Maria and I approached. Inside, something was crouched in the corner. The shape was wrong. Then my light found the coveralls, Nikita's name patch visible on the chest. But what wore them wasn't Nikita anymore. Pale gray-white skin, spine curved unnaturally. One normal arm, the other elongated with reverse joints, fingers fused into a paddle. The head turned toward our lights. The face was smoothed away, melted. Eyes gone, replaced by smooth skin. The mouth was a horizontal slit that opened and closed, water trickling out. "Jesus Christ," Maria whispered. The thing made a wet, gurgling sound, trying to speak. It shifted, trying to stand, trying to move toward us. "Back up," Mariah said quietly. "Slow." We backed toward the corridor. The creature pulled itself upright using the wall. Taller than Nikita had been, spine elongated. Water dripped from its body. It took a step toward us, then another, lurching, uncertain, learning to use its transformed body. "What do we do?" Igor's voice was high. "Control room. Emergency beacon. We're getting off this platform." We turned to run and found the corridor blocked. Another one stood there. Older coveralls, different company. Transformation further along. Both arms elongated, both paddle-like. Face completely smooth except for that horizontal mouth. Behind it, more. 3, 4, 5 shapes in the darkness. "Other way," Maria shouted. We ran through the mess hall, the Nikita thing lurching after us, through another exit toward exterior catwalks. Behind us, wet footsteps, gurgling vocalizations that hum. "External stairs," Igor gasped. "East side." We burst onto a catwalk. Wind hit us. Below, the ocean churned. We ran along the slick grating. Behind, 2 creatures emerged, moving faster now. Igor reached the stairs first. Maria followed. I was last, hearing them gain. I hit the stairs, taking them 3 at a time. Above, a creature reached the top. It paused, head tilted, then jumped. It crashed onto the stairs between Maria and me. The structure shook. It reached for Maria. She ducked and drove her shoulder into it, shoving it against the railing. The corroded metal gave way and it fell to the deck below. More were coming down above us. "Keep moving." We hit the deck and ran. The fallen creature was already standing. We sprinted for the nearest door. Inside, Maria slammed and bolted it. Something crashed against it from outside. "Won't hold long," Igor panted. "Where do we go?" "Control room. Emergency beacon. Signal for help and barricade until rescue." "How long?" "Coast Guard helicopter in 2 hours if they scramble." 2 hours. I looked at the shuttering door. We have to survive 2 hours. We climbed toward upper levels, moving fast and quiet. Shadows seemed to hide threats. Every sound made us freeze. Igor suddenly stopped, grabbing his leg with a grimace. Twisted my ankle on the stairs. "Bad. I can walk but not run." Maria and I exchanged glances. If we had to run, Igor couldn't keep up. "We stay together," Maria said. "All 3 or none." We continued slower, Igor limping between us. We reached the control room. The door was locked. I raised the wrench when Maria grabbed my arm. "Listen." From inside, wet breathing, heavy, slow. Something was already there. "Back stairwell," Maria whispered. "Roof access." "We go from above." We found the roof hatch and climbed up. Wind threatened to blow us off. We crossed the helipad to the control room roof access. I spun the wheel lock. It squealed but opened. Below was darkness. I could hear that breathing. My light found the emergency beacon on the wall, 3 meters below. "I'll go," I said. "Drop down, hit the beacon, pull me up." Before Maria could argue, I lowered through and dropped. I landed in a crouch, scanning. In the corner, a creature stood swaying, facing away. I moved toward the beacon. 3 meters, 2. I could see it, the red box, the button. 1 meter. Behind me, the breathing changed. Faster, it noticed. I lunged, flipped the cover, slammed the button. Nothing. I pressed again. Nothing. I tore open the panel. The wiring was cut, sabotaged. "No!" The creature's hand clamped my shoulder. I spun, swinging the wrench. It connected with a wet crack. The creature stumbled but didn't fall. I scrambled for the hatch. "Pull me up, now!" Maria and Igor grabbed my arms and hauled. The creature lunged, catching my leg. I kicked free and they yanked me through. We slammed the hatch. Below, something crashed against it. Once, twice. Silence. "Beacons sabotaged," I gasped. "Someone cut the wires before we arrived." "No way to call for help," Igor said, face gray. "Life rafts," Maria said. "Emergency rafts. We deploy one. Take our chances in the ocean." "Lower deck," I said. "We'd have to go back down through everything." "It's our only option." We helped Igor up. His ankle was badly swollen, but he nodded. "Let's do it." We descended, checking every corner. The creatures had pulled back, but we knew they were waiting. Third level, second, first. We were close to the deck where the life raft stations were. The lights went out, all of them simultaneously. Absolute darkness except our flashlights. "Igor," Maria said quietly, "generator fail?" "No. Someone shut off the main breakers." His voice was tight. "Someone's been ahead of us, cutting wires, sabotaging, hurting us." That hum began again, not from one direction but all around, resonating through the structure. Footsteps, dozens, converging from multiple directions. "They're coming," Igor whispered. "The deck. Run, don't stop." We ran through darkness, Igor limping but keeping pace. Behind us, pursuit grew louder. Wet footsteps, gurgling vocalizations, that terrible hum. We burst onto the external deck. Wind and spray hit us. The life raft station was 20 meters away, a metal cabinet bolted to the railing. We sprinted. Igor cried out with each step. I heard creatures emerging behind us, shrieking. Maria reached the station and yanked it open. Inside, a canister marked "Emergency Life Raft." "Do it," I shouted. She pulled the deployment handle. Nothing. She pulled harder. The handle moved, but no raft deployed. She looked inside. "It's empty." "Someone removed it." I turned. 6 creatures approached from the doorway, moving in coordination. We were cornered against the railing, 3 stories above the ocean. "Over the side," Maria said. "Only chance." "That's 15 meters," Igor protested. "Better than them." She climbed the railing. Together, on 3. I helped Igor up. We stood on the railing, ocean far below, creatures approaching. 1, 10 meters away. 2, 5 meters. I could see their faces, smooth, featureless, inhuman. 3, we jumped. The fall stole my breath. Then the ocean hit like concrete, driving air from my lungs, cold, shocking every nerve. I surfaced, gasping. Maria was there. Igor came up, coughing, struggling. "His ankle," Maria said. "He can't swim. Help me." We got Igor between us, supporting him. Above, creatures stood at the railing, watching. They didn't jump. "We swim," Maria said through chattering teeth, "away from the platform." Below us, something moved, something large, creating a current that pulled at our legs. "It's here," Igor said hollowly. "The thing from the hold." The water churned. Something brushed my leg, massive and cold and wrong. "Don't move," Maria whispered. "Maybe it won't," Igor screamed. His body jerked down, pulled beneath. Maria grabbed for him, but he was gone instantly. "No!" She dove after him. "Maria, don't!" I reached, but she was under. I was alone on the surface, the ocean dark around me. I couldn't see them. Couldn't see anything below except blackness. The water erupted and Maria surfaced, gasping, wild-eyed. "Swim, now!" We swam away from the platform, not looking back. My arms burned, my lungs ached. Cold made my movements sluggish. Behind us, the water churned once, then went still. Igor was gone. After minutes that felt like hours, Maria stopped. We treaded water, shaking uncontrollably. "We're going to die," I said. "Hypothermia in 30 minutes." Maria stared past me, back at the platform. I turned. The platform stood silent. Around it, in the water, pale shapes moved just beneath the surface. Dozens of them. "The crew," Maria said. "Everyone who disappeared. They're all still there, changed, serving her." Her, whatever lives beneath, what we woke with our drilling. Her voice was hollow. She takes us one by one, makes us into something else. We floated watching those shapes circle. The hum rose from the deep, vibrating through water, through our bones. Then, in the distance, a ship, a cargo vessel maybe 2 kilometers away. "Maria, look." She pulled a waterproof flare from her jacket. "Old habit." She fired it. The flare arced into the sky, burning bright red. We watched the ship. Long seconds. Then, it began turning toward us. They saw it. Maria laughed, edged with hysteria. We treaded water, watching it grow larger. My limbs went numb. But the ship was coming. Beneath us, something moved. A current. Something large rising. "Not again," Maria whispered. "The ship," I said. "We just have to make it." A kilometer away, we started swimming, weak strokes. Below, that presence followed. I looked back at the platform. Pale shapes circled. On the deck, more figures watched us go. The hum grew louder, forming words. A song in a language older than human speech, singing of hunger and darkness in the deep places. The ship was closer. 500 meters. 400. Beneath us, the water began to churn. The water beneath us erupted. Something massive broke the surface between us and the ship. Pale flesh glistening with slime, covered in patches that pulsed with their own rhythm. I caught a glimpse of limbs, too many limbs, arranged in configurations that made my eyes hurt to follow. And a mouth, not vertical like a human's, but horizontal, splitting wide across the mass, lined with baleen-like structures that filtered and clicked. But it was the faces that made me scream. Dozens of them embedded in the flesh. Human faces, features smoothed and melted but still recognizable. Eyes that tracked our movement. Mouths that opened and closed in wet synchronization, creating that hum, that terrible song. I saw Nikita's face near the top, Igor's face lower down, half submerged in the colony's flesh, and others, faces from the photographs in the crew quarters, faces from decades of disappearances, all still aware, all still screaming silently. The thing rose higher, a living wall of transformed humanity, and crashed back down. The wave hit us like a fist, tumbling me underwater. I lost sense of direction. My lungs burned. I kicked desperately, broke surface, gasped. Maria surfaced beside me, wild-eyed. "It's blocking us from the ship." The creature circled beneath, its mass creating currents that pulled at our legs. On the ship, crew members pointed and shouted. The vessel slowed, cautious. "We go under it," I said. "Dive deep, swim fast, surface on the other side. That's suicide. We're dead anyway." The thing rose again, closer this time. Through the translucent areas of its flesh, I could see internal structures, bones that had fused together, organs that no longer served their original purpose, a circulatory system that pulsed with something darker than blood. And at the center, deep within the mass, I saw her, not embedded like the others, integrated. The nucleus around which the colony had grown, a woman's form, or what had been one, decades ago. Her body had become something else entirely, a node of control, a hive queen, the source of that ancient hunger. She was looking at me. Through all that flesh, across all that distance, she saw me, and she wanted me to join them, to become part of the song. The creature dove and I saw our chance. "Now! Dive now!" We sucked in air and went under. I kicked down, following the platform's support leg as a guide, hugging close to the barnacle-encrusted metal. Beside me, Maria did the same. Below, the creature was a vast shadow. As we descended, I saw details that made my stomach clench. The colony wasn't just fused flesh, it was organized. Limbs worked in coordination. The multiple faces synchronized their vocalizations to create that hum. It was a single organism built from many bodies, with a collective intelligence. And it was learning, adapting, getting better at hunting. My lungs screamed. Black spots danced in my vision. I kept swimming, following the support leg down into darkness, then away, then desperately up toward light. I broke surface and gasped, choking on air and spray. Maria came up beside me. We were on the other side, between the creature and the ship, 200 meters to safety. Behind us, the creature realized we'd gotten past. It shrieked, every mouth in the colony opening simultaneously, creating a sound that vibrated through water and air and bone. A sound of rage and hunger and something else. Loneliness. She was alone down there in the deep, and she needed company. "Swim!" Maria shouted. We swam with everything left. The ship was lowering a rescue boat, engine starting, heading toward us. 150 meters. The creature dove and I felt it beneath us, massive and fast, rising like a depth charge. 100 meters. It was going to catch us. We weren't fast enough. We'd never been fast enough. 50 meters. The rescue boat was close now. I could hear the engine, hear men shouting. The water beneath me swelled. Something wrapped around my ankle, cold, strong, covered in slime. I was yanked downward. "Alexei!" Maria grabbed my hand. We were both pulled under, dragged down toward the mass of flesh below. I looked down through the murk and saw it clearly. The colony spreading wide like a net, ready to engulf us. And at the center, she waited. Her eyes, still human eyes, the only part of her that hadn't changed, looked into mine. I saw her story in that moment. Not words, but images, feelings, understanding. She had been a researcher on that vessel in the 1940s, the Glubinaya Pesnya, the Deep Song. They'd been studying deep-sea life, mapping the ocean floor. She'd gone down in a diving bell to unprecedented depths. And she'd found something down there. Something old. Something that existed in the crushing darkness where the rules of biology bent and broke. It had infected her. Changed her. When they pulled up the diving bell, she was already transforming. The crew tried to help, but she was contagious. Touch by touch, breath by breath, she spread the change. Within a week, the entire ship's crew had been absorbed into the growing colony. They'd thrown themselves overboard to escape the flames when someone tried to burn the ship, sank to the bottom. And there, in the deep, the transformation completed. She'd been down there for 80 years, growing, spreading, absorbing anyone who came near. The platform had been built directly above her domain, fresh victims, lowered into her reach. And now she wanted me, wanted Maria, wanted to add our voices to the eternal song. My lungs were empty. Darkness closed in. Then something crashed into the water beside us. A diver in a bright yellow suit, carrying a high-powered underwater light. The beam swept across the creature's flesh and it recoiled, limbs pulling back, the mass contracting. Light. It hated light. Had lived in darkness for so long that illumination was pain. The diver slashed at the limb holding me with a knife. It released and retracted. He grabbed both of us, activated an emergency flotation device on his belt, and we rocketed upward. We broke the surface and were hauled into the rescue boat. I collapsed in the bottom, retching seawater, shaking. "Go!" someone shouted. "Full throttle!" The boat's engine roared. We pulled away as the creature surfaced one final time, watching us escape. That horrible collection of faces all turned in our direction. All those mouths opening in a scream of loss and rage. Then it sank back into the deep. We reached the ship, were lifted aboard by crane, wrapped in thermal blankets. hustled to warmth and safety. The ship's captain, a Filipino man named Reyes, looked at us with a mixture of concern and fear. What was that thing? Something old, Maria said through chattering teeth. Something that should have stayed buried. The platform, stay away from it, I said. Mark it as a hazard. Establish an exclusion zone. Don't let anyone near it. Ever. Captain Reyes saw something in our eyes that convinced him. He nodded slowly. But I knew it wouldn't matter. The platform would stand. And eventually someone would go back. 3 months later, I woke at 3 a.m. to the sound of water dripping. Not from the bathroom, not from outside, from inside the walls. I sat up in bed listening. Elena slept beside me, undisturbed. The dripping continued, regular as a heartbeat. Then, underneath it, I heard something else. That hum, faint, distant, but unmistakable. Coming through the pipes, resonating through the building's infrastructure, traveling hundreds of kilometers through water and metal to find me. I got up and went to the bathroom, turned on the tap, stared at my reflection in the mirror. My face looked pale, drawn, wrong. I held my hand under the running water and it felt too cold. When I pulled it back, water ran off it in sheets, more than should cling to skin. I dried it quickly, rubbing until the skin was pink again. Just imagination. Just trauma and lack of sleep. But I knew better. The transformation had already begun. Maria called me the next day. "You hear it too, don't you?" she said without preamble. "Yes. Every night getting louder. She's calling us back. We're 300 kilometers inland. There's no water except pipes and sewers. Distance doesn't matter. Water is water. It's all connected. And she's in the water now, spreading through it, reaching. Maria, we need help. Professional help. Therapy, medication. They can't help us." Her voice was hollow. We were marked the moment we went into that water. The change started then. It's just taking longer because we're far from the source. Then what do? I'm going back. No, that's insane. Is it? We're becoming like them anyway. Slowly here, alone and terrified. Or quickly there, where maybe we can end it. She paused. I found something, Alexei. In the old records. The research vessel. The Glubinная Pesnya. They were studying it. The thing in the deep. They had notes, theories. The original colony is still down there, on the ocean floor, where she first transformed. The platform colony is just an extension, a hunting ground. What are you saying? I'm saying there might be a way to kill it. Really kill it. Sever the connection between the colonies. But someone has to go down there, all the way down, 300 meters to the ocean floor. That's a death sentence. We're already dead. This just makes it mean something. Her voice softened. I'm going in 2 days. I've chartered a boat, hired a crew who won't ask questions. If you want to come, meet me at Murmansk Harbor, Dock 7, 6 a.m. day after tomorrow. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there, phone in hand, thinking about what she'd said. We were already dead, already transforming, already lost. But maybe we could take it with us. I didn't tell Elena the truth. I couldn't. How could I explain that I was becoming a monster? That every day my body felt less like mine, more like something foreign wearing my skin. I told her I had to go back. One final trip to close out the investigation. Routine paperwork. I'd be home in a week. She looked at me with eyes that saw too much. You're lying, she said quietly. Elena, I don't know what happened out there. You won't tell me. But you're different. You barely sleep. You flinch at every sound. And sometimes when you think I'm not looking, you stare at your hands like they belong to someone else. I couldn't meet her eyes. "Just tell me one thing," she said. "Are you coming back?" I wanted to lie. Wanted to promise her I'd be home in a week and everything would be fine. But I'd lied enough. "I don't know," I said. She nodded slowly, tears running down her face. "Then at least let me say goodbye properly." We held each other that night, and I memorized the feel of her, the warmth, the simple human reality, knowing it might be the last time. Murmansk Harbor was gray and cold at 6 a.m. I found Maria at Dock 7, standing beside a small research vessel. She looked worse than me, gaunt, pale, dark circles under her eyes. "You came," she said. "Couldn't let you have all the fun." She smiled grimly. "The crew thinks we're doing underwater photography. They'll take us to the platform, lower us in a diving bell, wait while we work, then bring us up. They don't need to know the truth. What's the plan once we're down there? The original colony is organic. It grows, spreads, absorbs. But like any organism, it has vital points, core structures. The woman at the center, she's the brain. Kill her, the whole thing dies. And how do we kill something that's survived 80 years at crushing depth?" Maria pulled out a package wrapped in waterproof material. "Thermite charges, military grade, hot enough to burn underwater. We place them at the colony's core and detonate remotely after we're clear." "If we're clear." "If we're clear," she agreed. The voyage took 6 hours. We stood at the railing as the platform came into view, that familiar silhouette on the horizon. Looking at it, I felt the hum grow stronger, resonating through my chest. She knew we were coming, was waiting for us. The crew anchored a safe distance away and prepared the diving bell, an old-fashioned pressure sphere with small portholes. Maria and I climbed inside with the thermite charges, breathing equipment, and high-powered lights. "You sure about this?" the captain asked. "No," Maria said. "Lower us down." The crane lifted the bell and swung it over the side. We began to descend. Through the porthole, I watched the light fade. Blue gave way to green, then to deep blue, then to black. The pressure increased. The bell's metal groaned. At 50 meters, we passed through a cloud of pale shapes. The platform colony drifting in the water column, reaching for us but unable to touch the sealed bell. At 100 meters, the shapes grew denser, more organized, swimming in patterns around us. At 200 meters, the bell's lights illuminated the ocean floor below, and I saw it, the original colony. It covered the seafloor like a carpet of flesh, spreading for hundreds of meters in every direction, pulsing, growing, ancient beyond measure. And at the center, she waited. The woman from the Glubinaya Pesnya, her body merged with the colony but still recognizable. Her face turned upward as we descended, and through the porthole across the water and darkness, her eyes met mine. She smiled. The bell settled onto the seafloor with a gentle thud. Maria and I looked at each other. "Ready?" she asked. "No, but let's do it anyway." We sealed our diving helmets and flooded the bell. The hatch opened and we swam out into the abyss. The colony surrounded us immediately. Limbs reaching, mouths opening, that hum vibrating through the water so powerfully that my entire body shook with it. But we had light. Our high-powered lamps swept across the flesh and it recoiled, creating a clear path. We swam toward the center, toward her, carrying the thermite charges. She didn't flee, didn't fight, just watched us approach with those ancient, patient eyes. When we were 10 meters away, she spoke, not with sound, but directly into our minds. "You could join us, become part of something eternal. No more pain, no more fear, Just the song, forever. No, Maria said aloud, her voice carrying through the water. We end the song. We planted the charges around her, working quickly, methodically. The colony's limbs pressed close but didn't attack. She was curious, I realized, interested in what we were doing. She'd been alone for so long. Even this, her own destruction, was interesting. The final charge placed, we activated the remote detonator and swam back toward the bell. That's when the colony attacked. Limbs shot out from all directions, wrapping around Maria's legs, her arms, dragging her back toward the center. "Alexei!" she screamed. I turned back, grabbed her hands, pulled, but the colony was too strong. Too many limbs. They were covering her, absorbing her. "Go!" Maria shouted. "Detonate it, while I'm close enough to make sure it works." "No. I'm already transforming. Look at me." I looked. Her skin had gone pale, gray-white. The change was accelerating, the colony catalyzing it. "Please," she said, tears streaming down her face. "Don't let me become that. End it. End all of it." Our eyes met across the dark water. "I'm sorry," I whispered. I pressed the detonator. The thermite charges ignited simultaneously, burning white-hot even underwater. The colony shrieked, every mouth opening at once, the hum becoming a scream of agony. I swam for the bell as fast as I could, the light from the burning charges illuminating the seafloor like a star. Behind me, the colony thrashed and burned, Maria's scream joining the chorus one final time before being cut off. I reached the bell, climbed inside, sealed the hatch. Through the porthole, I watched the colony burn. At the center, the woman's form was consumed by white fire. Her eyes found mine one last time. She wasn't angry, wasn't afraid. She looked grateful. Then she was gone, and the entire colony went with her, flesh burning away, dissolving, until nothing remained but charred residue on the seafloor. The hum stopped. The silence was absolute. I signaled the ship to raise the bell. As I ascended through the dark water, I saw the platform colony above, drifting aimlessly. Without the core directing them, they were just meat. Within days, scavengers would consume what remained. It was over. I'm writing this 6 months after that day. The transformation stopped. My body stabilized. I'm still not quite normal. My skin is too pale. My joints are too flexible. I can hold my breath for unsettling lengths of time. But I'm human, mostly. Elena took me back, despite everything. Despite the lies, the secrets, the thing I almost became. We moved to a new city, far from any ocean. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear echoes of the hum, but they're fading. Memories, not reality. The platform still stands, marked as a navigational hazard. The exclusion zone remains in effect, but there's nothing living there anymore. Just rust and rot and empty corridors. I think about Maria every day. Her choice, her sacrifice, the way she'd smile just before I pressed the detonator, finally free. I think about Igor and Nikita, consumed by the colony, trapped in that horrible existence until the fire freed them too. I think about all the people over the decades who disappeared into those dark waters, who became part of something they never understood. And I think about her, the woman at the center, alone in the abyss for 80 years, driven by hunger and loneliness to create a colony of the lost. Maybe she's truly gone. Maybe the fire consumed everything. Or maybe she's still down there, in the deepest parts, waiting to start again. I don't go near the ocean anymore. I don't look at water without wondering what's beneath the surface. And on quiet nights when Elena is asleep and the city is still, I close my eyes and remember the song, not with longing, but with gratitude that I can finally hear silence again.